All right. Well, right now on Fox 10 Talks, we've got a friend of the show on, Amy Summers, author of Lift. Thanks so much for joining us. We love having you on. You always give us good pointers to self-improve, especially as it relates to our performance at work and with our colleagues. And today we're talking about one of the first touch points in your book, which seems pretty simple, but apparently it's not, because not everybody is showing up. What does that mean?
Well, showing up is all about being active in your leadership. So I think for many years, leaders would say things like, I have an open door policy, but that requires someone to still make the first move and walk into your door. And we're just in a different time right now where people really need for the leader to make the first move. So show up and lift is the first touch point, because that's where leadership starts. It starts when you are active and you are showing up.
And so are people reluctant to do so, or do they just not know how to navigate it?
I think, with technology, the first move people often make now is, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT or Claude, or I'm going to figure it out on my own on YouTube. And so that is the instinct now, where it didn't used to be. And some of us that are further along in our careers, our first instinct is pick up the phone, walk down the hall, ask somebody a question. So we just need to recognize that this next generation coming through, that's not their first instinct. So it's not that they don't necessarily want to have a conversation, it's just not their first move.
And what does showing up look like? Like, give us a real life example of, something actionable that someone can do on a day-to-day basis that shows that you're showing up.
Well, my book Lift, the example I give is the very first place you should show up is in the interview process. And I think that is very important now, especially as AI is taking over much of the roles of interviewing, from screening people out to even interviewing potential employees on the first and second round. So many students are telling me that they'll do an interview on AI, on a Zoom, kind of how we're on a Zoom now, except I can see you, but they can't see who's interviewing them. They're just getting questions and having to answer.
Oh yeah, that would feel very awkward.
Very awkward. You can't see body language. You can't show your personality. So if they make it past round 2, round 3, they might actually get to speak to somebody. What I'm saying is that we need to show up before that. We need to see who we're hiring exactly and see if there's any chemistry there. And we can't do that if we allow technology to take over that role for us.
All right. Well, let's get more specific about that, because the interview is that you're walking through the front door. I mean, this is your one chance to really impress. So beyond 2 things that at least I believe in. One is thoroughly research the company. Be so ready to talk about what they do and show your knowledge. That's number 1. And then number 2, I believe in handwritten notes afterwards. I tell my kids this back when they were looking for jobs. Follow it up with a nice little handwritten note. Between those 2 pillars, what needs to happen in that interview? How can you connect with the person who's looking for the best possible hire?
Well, Ron, I agree with you, because I was also told the handwritten note, but it's so much more challenging for young people and young professionals now, because they don't even know where to send the note. It used to be, it was so clear about where you would mail it. And a lot of these executives aren't even in their office anymore, so they may not even see it, or they'll make a decision before the mail gets to them. So you do have to be a little bit more creative. I've heard of some ideas on how to get around that, like sending an electronic thank you to the person that interviewed you, or at least emailing them at minimum if you are able to do that. If not, find them on LinkedIn, send them a direct message, go around the system, get their face on your, on their DM so they know who you are exactly. And then it becomes a little bit more real.
And, you're so successful. You obviously have employees and interns that work a lot with you and closely with you. So what is one small action that someone can do that is impressive to you, maybe on a daily basis or weekly, something that's regular that says, hey, my employee or my intern really cares about this. This small example shows me that.
Well, I think for young professionals, the word right now is responsive. So the more responsive you are, the more attention you're going to get. I think we're so worried about being perfect and having everything perfect, and we don't want to, put in our report until everything is exactly right. It's more impressive to leaders if you come to them at different stages of the project, ask them their feedback, see if you're on the right track. Let them be part of the process, like it's a collaborative teamwork thing, instead of being isolated and, trying to do everything on your own. I think that speaks volumes to leaders if you really want to stand out. And at the same time, you're developing your relationship with them, which is very valuable and will set you apart from your peers.
Okay, so let's say you got hired and you've been doing the job, and frankly, you're doing a good job. And then it's time to go in and ask for a raise. I always like to kind of put everything into real practical purposes here. How do you show up, if you want to put it that way, in that important conversation that you're going to be having with the boss?
Well, I think there's a lot of lead up to that. So you're not going to just show up and ask for a raise and, without any proof. So along the way, you really have to prove your value. And that means, and this is really important, that young people really need to document what they're doing. So every week, look at what you're doing. Start building your own portfolio, if you will, so that when you do get in those meetings, you can share, here are some of the things that I've done to really help the company innovate or progress or to get to their goals. And these are the metrics. They want to see metrics, but they also want to know, how did you get there? And so I think one of the things that often young professionals forget to do is document along the way.
All right. And what if you work maybe in a field where you don't have like a report to share or a graph to show how you've helped increase sales in one particular product that maybe you helped develop a marketing or advertising campaign for? So what are some things that or examples of maybe some things someone can keep track of in work that is, not necessarily quantifiable?
Sure. The way you communicate and the way you have relationships with your clients, your customers, your teammates, all of these things matter, right? So even if you're in a supporting role, detailing that out on how did I support the team? So you may not be the one in the spotlight, but maybe you helped prepare the person in the spotlight. I had somebody on my team once that all she did was reports. Pretty boring job, if you will. It's not really exciting, like booking a TV interview for a client. It's not all that obvious. It's back in the background, and here's the report, and here's how many people were watching. But she made the case in a meeting to me that if I wasn't pulling together all the TV links that you were getting for these clients, they wouldn't even know, they wouldn't have a record of what they did. And so she was really valuable because she was able to pull together the reports, but also show value in how much work that was involved in doing that, and that she was playing a supportive role in all the interviews that we were getting for our clients.
Yeah, that was a great example, because it doesn't always have to be this big, flashy achievement, but some of that basic, behind the scenes work that's essential, that really is still important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, where can we find your book?
So you can find my book at lifttolead.com, and it's available online anywhere books are sold online, or you can also download it on Audible if you prefer just to listen to me read it to you.
Oh, nice. You're the voice. You're the narrator. I love it.
And there we see it. I love that it's on the back of your wall. I'm just now noticing that.
How coincidental.
I know the last time you had the book, but I love the poster there that you got behind you.
Yes, it was at my book launch party, and all my mentees signed it. So it's,
that's cool.
It's a reminder to me that I can do these interviews. I've got it.
You got it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's been a great interview.
You are so inspiring. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.